This is Seduction 17.1 with the LXQt desktop. The name Seduction is derived from the Debian SID repository or unstable repository, and this is a rolling release based on Debian SID, meaning that everything is as up to date as you can get from Debian. I have really never found it as unstable as the name implies, but it hasn't yet gone through the elaborate and time-consuming Debian testing process. There is also some software provided with Seduction that is not normally available in the Debian repositories. Now, the reason I'm trying the LXQt desktop is that I've been looking for a lightweight desktop for some time, and as I've said before, LXDE is in its waning days, and I don't see any point in investing a lot of effort in it at this point, even though it's still alive. So I've looked at a few LXQt implementations, and LXQt is due to replace LXDE at some point. One reason I'm looking for a lightweight desktop is that while my computer is neither the latest thing nor the oldest, and somewhere in between, I'm finding that with the heavier weight distributions, even though I can use them on my computer, I'm getting hiccups when I listen to music or play videos. And I find that with lightweight desktops such as LXQt, I don't get those hiccups. The videos play beautifully, sharp, clear, fresh, with no hiccups. So this is more or less the way Seduction looks. I haven't done much to it. There's a plank here at the top. I've added a couple of items. This is the Pacman file manager. This is the Q terminal. This is a new one to me, a JuffEd text editor. It's a very nice text editor. This is something called Nomax, with which I was totally unfamiliar, but it's an image manipulator of some sort. It has several different functions which I haven't fully explored yet. This is Screen Grab, which takes snapshots of the screen. This is Audacious, which is a music player. This is the SM player, which is a multimedia player. This is the IRC client or chat client, which is also visible over here. And this is Firefox web browser. This is the Zim desktop wiki, another one with which I've been unfamiliar. And I've added here simple screen recorder and the pulse audio volume control. Now, pulse audio volume control was already provided by default, and I installed Simple Screen Recorder. One thing I'm going to do here is just get rid of this IRC client because I don't use it. Move to trash. I can always get it back if I want it. To add launchers to the plank, all you do is open the application you want to add. Here I'm going to open the character map, and as it's open, it's already added to the plank, and then you right click on that icon and then left click on Keep in Dock, and now you have the character map available from the dock or plank. Of course, you can add and subtract things as you wish, and as I go along, I would certainly change the items that are in here to ones that I use more frequently. Then on the bottom panel, you have the application menu, which is used in a number of other LXQt implementations, and this one I like because it has the search bar at the bottom here. I'll go into that more later. You have a workspace switcher with 2 workspaces. By default, you can add more workspaces, of course. You have a show desktop icon and a link to the LXQt configuration center. I don't know why they didn't put that up in the dock, but they didn't. Then you have a task manager or window list showing the open windows. These two are minimized, of course, and you can unminimize them and reminimize them simply by clicking. This thing that has CNS allows you to turn on the caps lock if you wish. It allows you to turn on the number lock. It allows you to turn on the scroll lock. For instance, if I left click on C, it's highlighted, and that lets me know that my caps lock is on. That's a useful feature because many keyboards, including mine, don't have a little light anymore. US simply says that I have the English US keyboard layout, and this is the network manager. I have a wired connection right now. This is the removable media manager. I'm operating from a remote hard drive. I installed this distribution easily on my external hard drive using the Calamares installer, which works very well. And this is the icon left by Simple Screen Recorder when it's operating. And this Q clipper is a clipboard manager. And this is the volume control. Here's the clock and calendar. Click on it, you get the calendar. Also, it shows the time and the date in very tiny letters at the bottom. I might want to reconfigure this if I use it at length. And this is the shutdown icon. And of course, I'm not going to shut down, but you have a choice here. And may I say that Seduction opens and shuts down very quickly. It's a very zippy desktop. Now, I wanted to mention one thing. It didn't come with Synaptic Package Manager. And so I had to install it using the terminal. There was no package manager other than the apt-get implementation or apt implementation. I tried to install Synaptic using sudo, and this is what happened. Now, I already had Synaptic, so I'm going to try GIMP. It asks for my password. I press enter. It says XRAM Tech is not in the sudoers file. This incident will be reported. Ooh. So, if you're familiar with Debian, you know that a sudo utility is not supported by default in Debian. You have to install it. And it looks like it's sort of halfway supported in Seduction. Sudo does work to a point, but you have to put yourself in the sudoers file to get it to work, and I haven't done that yet. So what I did is I tried making myself root. Now I'm root. So apt-get installed GIMP. Do you want to continue? Yes. Alright, so now I have GIMP. I'll look for it later to make sure I have it. But that's what I had to go through to install Synaptic. Now let's just take a quick look at the menu here. Under accessories, they have character map, the JuffEd text editor. These little notes tend to get in the way of what's below here. This is the Midnight Commander editor, a text-based editor, if I'm not mistaken. This is a PCman FM file manager. This is Plank, which you see at the top of the screen. This is Clipper with a Q, the clipboard manager. This is Vim, a more basic text editor. This is Xarchiver. And this is the Zim Desktop Wiki. Haven't looked at this yet. I'll take a look at it. Under Games, you have 2048-Qt. I don't know what that is, but that's the only game. Since I don't play games, that's good for me, but if you want to add more games, of course you can. Here's GIMP, which I just installed using the command line. Here's Image Magic, which it already had. LX Image, which it already had. And this Nomax, which is another image manipulation program. This is Screen Grab, and screen capture program, and it also has Screenshot, another screen capture program. So it's an embarrassment of riches. I would probably change out some of these things at some point. This is the Ceni image scanning program. Under Internet, it has Ceni. I don't have the vaguest idea what that is. Let me just take a look. This doesn't tell me what it is, so I'm going to leave that for later. Yes, I want to exit. So back to Internet. It has the Conman UI set up, the Qt GUI front end for Conman. I have no idea what that is either. There's a lot to explore here. Firefox browser, that I know. I've used it and it works. HexChat for chatting, the IRC client for chatting. QBitTorrent, the BitTorrent client. SSH Activate, if you use SSH, I don't. And here's SSH Deactivate. This is Trojita. And it looks like an email client. Just going to get rid of that for now. Oh, it's going to be in the system tray until I disable it. I guess I have no choice about that. So, now you have the XDG browser launcher. I don't really know what that is either, but I assume it's a browser launcher. Well, it launches a browser. As a matter of fact, it launches Firefox. I don't exactly know what the purpose of that is, since I can launch Firefox by clicking on Firefox. Anyway, there are a lot of interesting things in here, many of which I would probably get rid of as time goes on, because there are a few things that I would like to add that are not in here. For instance, LibreOffice, there's no Office suite here at all. But that's all right. Some people like to have everything installed. They can use it just as it comes. And other people like to pick and choose what they install. So I could easily install LibreOffice, but I'm not going to take the time now. Under sound and video, it came with Audacious, it came with the MPV Media Player, it came with Pulse Audio Manager, it came with the Pulse Audio Volume Control. I installed Simple Screen Recorder, and I did that using Synaptic once I had installed Synaptic. It came with the SM Player, which many people like, but I installed the VLC Media Player, which I prefer. It came with Voco Screen, which is another screen recorder. It's perfectly usable. I could have used Voco Screen to make this recording, but I'm just used to Simple Screen Recorder, and that's why I'm using that. And this is a YouTube browser for the SM Player. I'm not going to browse anything right now. Under System Tools, it has a deconfiguration editor, has HTOP. Might as well take a look at that, although I'm using Simple Screen Recorder. So it's a little bit heavy right now. It shows that I'm using 536 megabytes of memory, which isn't too bad. It was down around 318 with nothing running. Back to System Tools, has a kernel remover. I assume you would want to replace kernels rather than just remove them, but in any case, this removes them. You have the Midnight Commander, which is not the Midnight Commander editor they mentioned earlier, but the Midnight Commander text-based file manager. There it is. A lot of things you can do with this. It's a very versatile program. It's also a little bit more complicated than PCman FM. Yes, I want to exit. This is QPS, a Qt application to display and manage running processes. I'm going to leave that alone for now. Q terminal. And the Q drop-down terminal. Here's a bug reporter. There's a root terminal, so if I had wanted to install software without becoming root, I simply could have used the root terminal. Let me open that up to see how it looks. You have to enter your password anyway. There, I'm already root. I'm not going to do anything with that right now. Then you have Seduction Bugs. It's a bug tracking system. This is a system profiler and benchmark. Here's the UX terminal, and here's the X terminal. So that's System Tools. Under Preferences, you have the LXQt settings. You have the ADSL/PPPOE configuration. I have no idea what that is, but I'll look it up later. Alternatives configurator. Customize look and feel. As gparted, the partition editor. NTFS configuration tools. This enables and disables write support for NTFS, which is the Windows file system. Print settings, configure printers, pulse audio preferences, screensaver. I added Synaptic Package Manager. And this is System Admin. System D, System Manager. This is another one I would stay away from unless you know what you're doing. So this is about LXQt. It's version 0.11.1, which I believe is the latest one. And this is the logout sequence. You can also get this over on the right if you want to save time. Just click on the icon on the right. You can also lock the screen, which I rarely want to do. Now let me take a look at the LXQt settings. Preferences. LXQt Configuration Center. This should be familiar to anyone who's used the KDE Plasma desktop. This is the widget style. I'm going to leave it on Adwaita for now. Then under Icons theme, you also have a choice. Adwaita, Faenza Ambience, which seems to be the one that's installed. Faenza Dark, Faenza Darker, Faenza Darkest. I think you would use these if you use a dark theme in general so that the icons would be visible. Faenza Radiance and Gnome. I'll leave those where they are too. Now the LXQt theme. Currently using the Patience theme, and Patience is the subtitle of this release, as you can see over here, Patience. There's several others. There's the Ambience. There's Dark. You notice you don't have to click on Apply, they just appear. Frost. KDE Plasma, Light, Patience, and System. I'll leave it on Patience for now. It looks fine. Then you can change the fonts also, but I'm not going to. And you can change the cursor style. Now I'm going back to LXQt settings from here. Brightness, I don't want to change that now. Desktop, you can also get this sometimes by right-clicking on the desktop, but I should point out that sometimes you can't, so you may want it here. And to show you what happens, if you go under Advanced, it says Show Menus Provided by Window Managers when the desktop is clicked. Well, right now I have that unchecked. So when I right-click on the desktop, I get a menu provided by the Window Manager. One of the things I can get is the desktop preferences that I was just looking at. However, if I click on Advanced, if I check that so that I want to show windows provided by the Window Managers, then click on Apply. Now when I right-click on the desktop, or when I left-click on it or do anything else on it, I don't get anything. So this advanced directive here works just the opposite of the way it says it's going to work. However, that's a relatively minor thing, just so you know what's happening there. Desktop notifications lets you decide where you want those. File associations, which is nice. You can associate certain file types with certain applications. Keyboard and mouse. This is the locale settings. Monitor settings. Power management. Session settings. Shortcut keys. Window Manager. Window Manager tweaks. Looking under Window Manager, by the way, you have to double click on these. There's a style here. It's on Breeze right now. You can click on Default, which is not the default. Breeze is the default. I click on Breeze, Daloa, Default HDPI, which is for people with high definition screens, and default XHDPI, extra high dots per inch, which is for people with even higher definition screens. And as you can see, the top border is bigger, but the typeface isn't. And then Cocody and Mohele. I'll just leave it on Breeze for now. Then you can tell your keyboard what to do with the windows when you press on certain keys. This covers the focus of the windows. And this advanced one shows windows snapping to screen borders to other windows is unchecked. I'm going to try some window snapping now. Let me open QTerminal here and see what happens. This snaps to the right half of the screen. So here's a case where LXQt has window snapping similar to the window snapping you find in XFCE. Currently, LXDE and other implementations of LXQt do not have window snapping. Let me try the file manager. I'm going to let it snap to the left half. Now I'm going to say File, New Window. And New Window opens in the entire screen. So I don't know what's supposed to happen when I chose Snap to Other Windows, but it doesn't seem to be snapping to other windows. However, it is snapping to the screen edge, and that's what I want. It seems to work better on the upper quadrant than it does on the lower quadrant. And if you drag it to the top of the screen, it fills the whole screen. If you drag it to the middle, nothing happens, it just goes down. So it works a little bit differently from window snapping in XFCE, but at least the major part of the window snapping, which is snapping to the left and the right half, work in this version of LXQt, which is a big plus for me, because that's the one thing I did not like about LXDE. The one thing it lacked that I wished that it had. Let me go back to the Configuration Center for a minute. Window tweaks, Window Manager tweaks, skip windows that have skip pager. Most of this doesn't interest me very much. Under workspaces, use the mouse wheel on the desktop to switch workspaces. I'm going to turn that off because that usually results in switching workspaces when you don't want to. Wrap workspaces depending on the actual desktop layout. I'm not going to wrap them. Wrap workspaces when the first or last workspace is reached. I'm going to disable that also. Placement. I'm not going to mess with this now. On the compositor, it has enabled display compositing, display full screen overlay windows directly, show windows preview in place of icons when cycling, show shadows under pop-up windows, show shadows under regular windows. It's got all of these enabled. Normally I would disable compositing, but I'm going to leave it in place for now. Now, as I said, I installed Synaptic, and I'm going to see if I can install LibreOffice since there's no Office suite here. I'm going to search for Libre. As usual with Synaptic, you may have to scroll down through an alphabetized list of related applications. But there it is, LibreOffice. I'll install the whole meta package, mark for installation, mark additional required changes, yes, and then click on apply. And then click on apply. Now I'm not going to make you wait while it's installing. I'll pause the video and come back when it's installed. All Alright, the changes are applied. Close. Now I'll see if I have LibreOffice. And under Office, there it is. I'll take a look at the LibreOffice Calc. There it is. Now, clicking on Help About LibreOffice. This is version 5.2.6.2, so it's very up to date. Notice that I'm also running Linux kernel 4.10. Seduction has, generally speaking, very up-to-date software. And this, of course, is the meta package. You can go to Writer if you wish, etc. So that's a first look at Seduction 17.1 with the LXQt desktop. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.